Is it recording?
And go.
So as always, I don't know where to start, so I'm just going to jump straight in. Kyle, we did a video on SharePoint CVEs like literally last week, and here we are again. What's going on?
What's going on? That's exciting times, right? I'm sure
Yeah.
everybody's thrilled with all the vulnerabilities that have come out lately. But there's another one, and once again, attacking SharePoint on-premise servers. But thankfully, this time with a little bit of a smaller reach, but still
Okay.
not so great.
All right, but it's feeling a little bit like here we go again. Should we be worried? I mean, it seems like a recurring pattern. But last time we spoke about the remote code execution, and this one is being described as like a spoofing vulnerability. I think that's the word.
Yeah.
But can you explain what that means in plain language? What's the difference?
Well, cool. So, for those who don't know what a RCE or remote code execution is, it basically means that attackers can run any code that they want on your system. Now, a spoofing attack, that is not directly making changes to your system. A spoofing attack is when somebody changes something to look like a more legitimate source. So, like when you get an email from some very strange email address at
Mm-hmm.
gmail.com, or some Russian email mailbox, but it says, no, this is from Microsoft, and this is a very important thing that you must click.
Yeah.
And they make the email look all professionally Microsoft, and they even say in the like name field, oh no, this is a Microsoft mailbox, even though you can clearly see the address is not a Microsoft mailbox. That's a type of spoofing.
Yeah, okay. Actually, so I've seen this where it's like from Microsoft.com, but the com, like the M, is it no, not dot com, sorry. One of the is it Microsoft? I don't know. But like the M was made like with an R and an N. So if you don't look carefully, like it looks like an M, but it's actually like,
Yeah, yeah,
RN.
yeah. There's many
Okay, okay,
types
okay.
of spoofing. Your regular spoofing uh, it will try and mask basically the true location that it's coming from,
Mm,
um, and show something else. But what you're seeing is like a similar character kind of vibe where it's showing you the real address that it's coming from, but that real address looks very, very close, but
mm,
isn't actually what it should be. Yeah.
gotcha. Okay, all right, I see. And with this CVS, no, sorry, CVE, I need to know my terminology. With this CVE, the CVSS score on this one is said to be 6.5, which is, I think, well, I'm assuming considered medium because it's like average between 1 and 10, I'm assuming. But the last time was much higher. I believe you said it was a 9.8 out of 10. So does that mean with this one we can relax? Is it less serious?
So it's a very good point. It is less serious, but there's a few reasons for that, and it doesn't mean that you shouldn't worry about it because it's it's more like there's less likelihood of
Mm-hmm.
it happening. And when it does happen, more things need to go wrong for them to, say, gain complete control of the system. But it still is an opening in the door that can lead to that. So, in terms of severity, yes, it is a less severe issue because it's not an instant break and then someone can have full control. So that's when you're seeing the sort of 9 9.5 tens, because that's like instant. They don't need any privileges,
Mm.
and they just have full control. So because it's spoofing, it's not instantly taking control,
Yeah.
but it's allowing people to now do things they shouldn't be able to do, which can lead to them getting control. So,
Gotcha. So in this case, I remember last week we spoke about people who are on SharePoint on-prem being the most at risk. This time around, who is at risk, or is it still the same?
so it's still the same.
Mm,
And this also speaks to the sort of lower score. So yes, it only affects people who are on-prem, but it's also more likely that only the on-prem servers that are being that are publicly available. So
okay.
if they broadcast the page that they're hosting from the SharePoint server, and it's accessible over the internet, so not when you're just in the office, that is where the attack vector is going to be most common. It's
Okay.
going to be much harder to do locally on the network because you first need to get into the network to do that. So it's still a possibility internally, but much less likely.
Gotcha. Gotcha. I think this one, not to say that you should feel at ease about an attack, but it's kind of, last week sounded a bit hectic. But
Yeah.
even if, in as much as I can say I'm at ease, I think the numbers are also a little bit like, "Eh?" Because it
Okay.
says that because researchers have found that over, I think 1,000, like 300 servers are still unpatched and exposed to the internet, even though a patch has been available for over a week. So, what do you think is going on there? What is your take on that?
Well, firstly, I think the numbers are maybe a little underreported, because as much as, yeah, they picked up 1,370 publicly available servers, but
Mm,
there's still going to be a lot more out there that are publicly available. They just have one or two extra levels of protection, so they're not allowed to be found by these automatic scanners. So those people might be a little bit safer, but still vulnerable to people who know about it.
mm,
And yeah, I mean, yes, we think about it, it's been over a week, you know, but for these people who have very large SharePoint infrastructure,
mm,
sometimes it can take 2 weeks to get the plan in place to test out the patches to make sure that they don't cause any trouble with any of your other existing systems. And then there's the internal red tape of businesses where your changes have to go through the CAB change request processes. It needs to get approved by various teams before it can even happen. So,
mm.
yeah, I mean, to us, it seems like a very long time, but unfortunately, big changes can take a long time.
Yeah. Okay. Um, I guess so. Because I think for me, maybe the week sounds unrealistic to be like, oh, okay, people should be up and running and sorted within a week. So yeah, I'm starting to feel like my question, I was expecting a lot. But I know this maybe might not be relevant to us considering we're in South Africa, but obviously we do have US clients and maybe this might be relevant to them. So CISA has ordered the US federal agencies to patch by the 28th of April. So here's what I want to get to. Like, what does this mean when this is added as something to their KE?
You
What
got
does
it.
it what does it mean when CISA adds something to the KEV list? Also, what is the KEV list?
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, I mean, so first off, the KEV list, it's basically a list of known exploits that are currently being seen in the wild.
Hmm.
So they've noted where they can, all the different instances of a specific vulnerability being used to attack someone. So that's when you see something appear on that list, then you know, okay, this is now not just a maybe this could happen. There's a stronger chance that somebody is going to try and use this against you, because generally it means that attack vector is easier to perform. It doesn't cost the attackers much to do. So and they've been seeing success from it. So now they added to this list to say, okay, well, this is something that people are doing, and it's being actively exploited all the time. So it's probably more of an issue, and you should actually worry about it.
Gotcha. Okay. Um, so I'm assuming, just, looking at the nature of attacks or software, cybersecurity, etc., this is probably not the first time we have something like this. Probably not the first time this year. I mean, yes, last week. And so, yes. What is the pattern that you notice? So what can you tell me about this pattern of this form of attacks?
Um, yeah, we've definitely seen quite a few of them. I mean, these are just the ones that are hitting the headlines. But if you look at Microsoft's like Patch Tuesdays, there's like 160 something vulnerabilities that they've patched in
Mm,
various Microsoft software alone in a
mm,
month.
mm,
Um, so in terms of the pattern and why we're seeing this sort of increase, the thing we have to understand is that most of the time, these vulnerabilities kind of pre-exist in the code. People just haven't figured it out yet. And with the help of AI, obviously people are now able to understand the flow of code a lot better.
mm,
Um, and they're able to see now these patterns of where they can actually break the logic and get in. Also, in a lot of these instances, there's actually these very low end CVEs that are scored only like 2 or 3. And then the AI says, well, if you use this CVE and that CVE and that CVE in a certain order, then suddenly it's as if you were using a like 9.5 CVE, because now you've used these small, very unlikely to break
mm.
anything issues to add together to actually give you full access to the system.
Wow. Okay. Okay. So you shouldn't just be concerned about, oh, okay, I'm just concerned about the 9.8 CVE, but you should also be concerned about them ganging up to form one super CVE. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, well, what I'm saying is these CVEs are kind of, they've always been in there in the code.
Mm,
So there's a lot more of them that have yet to be uncovered, possibly. Every now and then, we do see a case where a new update might allow for a CVE, but that's becoming less and less um, in these days, because again, the good guys also have AI to go through and read the same logic and to make sure that they plug all of these holes. So
gotcha.
yeah, we're going to see a lot more coming, um, but just make sure you keep up to date with things, and you should be okay.
Yeah. And why does SharePoint keep coming up? Is it a particularly vulnerable platform, or is it just very popular?
Well, I wouldn't say it's particularly vulnerable. It's actually one of the safer platforms, I would say.
Mm,
And I
mm,
think that's because it relies more on not just itself. Um, there's a few layers you've got to get through before you even reach SharePoint. And then when you do, It has, connects to Active Directory or Azure AD to confirm
Mm.
your logins and everything. So I don't think SharePoint's particularly just a vulnerable platform, but it is something that's becoming a lot more popular, I would say. So I think ever since like SharePoint 2016, 2019,
Mm-hmm.
um, they worked out most of the pain points, I would say, with the on-premise environment. And yeah, it's become a lot more popular in the past 5 to 10 years. And now that we have so many people or businesses running this in, larger scale environments, they've just become a more valuable target at the end of the day. So that
Mm-hmm.
makes them more enticing to look at and try and attack them.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. And at what point would this then become a security risk? So an indefensible security risk. At what point does running, rather, let me say, yeah, at what point does running SharePoint on-prem become an
Yeah.
indefensible security risk?
Uh, I think if it ever became an indefensible security risk, then Microsoft wouldn't allow it to carry on existing.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, that's why we have deprecations of old versions. So when, let's say, for instance, SharePoint 2019,
Mm.
um, Microsoft stops supporting that. They stop providing security updates to it. And after that, then you're kind of on your own. If any other new bugs come up for that software, um, you better know how to secure it yourself because Microsoft's not going to be making any more updates for it.
Mm.
So I think that's the only time things would be indefensible is if you're running like an old SharePoint 2013 instance that's been out of support for forever. New
Mm.
vulnerabilities come out for that. Depending on what it is, there might still be ways of protecting
Mm.
yourself against it. Like if you understand the attack vector, you can usually block that out. Um, so I think indefensible is a very low likelihood scenario.
Okay, yeah, I guess maybe I was exaggerating a bit there. But if somebody's watching this and they run SharePoint on-prem, what is the first thing that they should do today? What do you think?
Yeah, if you're running SharePoint on-prem, I think the first thing you should do is check your update versions, check if you have the latest security updates on your SharePoint servers.
Hmm. And then beyond the patching, what are there any quick ways that people can reduce exposure before the patch is even applied?
Oh,
So how can people prevent?
yeah, for sure. So in this instance particularly, like
Mm,
if you have a SharePoint server that is not public facing and accessible from the internet, um, you might want to bring that service down, or at
mm,
least not allow that public internet access directly. Um, there's like proxies and various other firewalls that you can use to sort of redirect incoming traffic so that it doesn't come straight to your server, it gets analyzed first.
mm,
So there are some stop gaps that you can use until patching is done in
mm.
those instances where you can't go without, disabling public access.
Okay. And SharePoint's 2016, it's coming to the end of their extended support for that, and that's on the 14th of July. We had a webinar about that, shameless self-promo. So, the 14th of July is like literally maybe 2 months, not even. Yeah, around 2 months away. So that's coming in really fast. What should organizations who are on 2016 be doing right now?
If you're on 2016, it's time to start looking at migrating. Unfortunately, you've got a double step process to go because you can't go straight to 29 to SharePoint subscription edition. You're going to need to go upgrade things from to SharePoint 2019 first and then
Mm,
go up. Your other option is start looking to rebuild the entire environment, match all the services like for like, and then you're going to have to use some sort of migration tool to copy the data across to the new supported farm.
mm.
Or you could always reach out to us and ask.
Okay. And then what's one thing every business owner watching this should do before the end of the week?
Um, every business owner should go and thank their security staff for what they do, because their jobs are probably going to just be getting harder over the next few years. And also,
Gotcha.
if you go to thank that person and you realize that that person isn't there, you should probably get one, or at least get a company to help you out with your security.
Yeah, definitely. Don't go without help.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Yes, Kyle. So, yeah, that's all. Those are all my questions for today. But thank you so much for this conversation. It was actually really helpful for me to understand better what I'm talking about. But yeah, if you are out there, you're watching, and you're not sure whether your SharePoint environment is patched or exposed, you are more than welcome to reach out to us. We've got the hookup, we've got the legal or ethical hacker in the house who happens to be sitting right here. So if ever you need a vulnerability assessment, penetration test, or you just have some security concerns, you are more than welcome to reach out and we will help you. But thank you so much, Kyle. Enjoy the rest of your day. And I'm guessing because of the way these attacks are moving, same time, same place.
Well, let's hope not, but more than likely. Thanks,
Yes,
everyone.
hope for the best, but expect the worst type of thing. Awesome. Thanks, Kyle. Bye.